It's time for a different type of Stranger Things video. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris. Welcome back to another video. Today I've got a fun Stranger Things collab, as I was able to make a video with one of my friends from across the pond, Olly. He's a huge Stranger Things fan who makes Stranger Things content, so be sure to go subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow him on TikTok. I'll have all of his socials linked down below. We got together and went through 5 different categories predicting fun things we want to see in Stranger Things Season 5. This ranges from an 80s movie reference to an 80s song we want to hear, along with returning locations, a potential scene, and one more category. We had a great time with this video. I'm standing in a bit of a different location because I didn't want to film some formal intro for this one. Also, giving you a sneak peek at the Stranger Things collection. I love it over here. It's my favorite corner of the room. But before we get into it, hit that like button, comment down below your predictions, what you would want to see for every single one of these categories we're about to go through. I explain more in a second. And of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell, but gear up for a fun Stranger Things collab. I'll see you in the Upside Down. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. As you saw in the intro, we are doing Stranger Things Season 5 fun predictions, and I'm joined by my friend from across the pond, Olly. How you doing, Olly?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Obviously, we've done a video before for my channel, so it's nice to be on yours. I'm excited for this. We've got some good ideas to cook up.
Absolutely, and you came up with a lot of these. I'm going to run down the categories. We have 5 categories, and those categories are 80s movie references we hope to see in Stranger Things Season 5, or that we think will be in Season 5, 80s song that we want to see or hope to see in Season 5, a character dynamic and or duo we hope to see in Season 5, a returning location from a past season, which is going to be a fun one, and then one scene or sequence we want to see in Season 5. So again, Season 5 doesn't have a set in stone release date yet. We know it's coming out this year, but we don't know when. But we just wanted to get together, do like some fun predictions within different categories. And so the first one I say we do is 80s movie references. The Duffers love to throw them in there. You know, Back to the Future in Season 3 is a big one. So I'll let you kickstart, Olly. What 80s movie reference do you want to see?
This one was quite hard because over the 4 seasons so far, they've hit a lot of these. So like the big ones, your E.T., your Back to the, they've kind of all been in there. So picking out some more niche ones was a bit difficult. This is not necessarily the way I want the plot to go, but I was thinking in the 80s, there were a lot of body swap movies. That was kind of a trend of sorts in the 80s. I'm thinking films like Vice Versa, you've got Big. So I was thinking maybe they could figure out some sort of body swapping thing, whether that's a big plot thing or like a more subtle thing. Maybe it's as big as Max and Vecna. I don't know, that's kind of wild, but that would be cool, I think. I did have a couple other little ones I wanted to note. People say Stand By Me, there's a lot of reference there to the earlier seasons. I was thinking they could lean fully into that and have the 4 OG boys go off on their own mission in Season 5, whether that's into the Upside Down, into the military camp, so that could be a thing. And also maybe a like classic Karate Kid style montage, training montage-esque thing.
That'd be sick.
Gearing up for battle could be cool as well, but those are just some ideas.
Great picks there, and especially Stand By Me, they could have a shot of the 4 main kids like walking along railroad tracks, because we've seen that, you know, in Season 1. We could have a sort of parallel there as well. I dig that. That'd be really cool, man. For mine, I was looking at, so we know this new season, they're saying it's going to take place in the fall of 1987. Now, I think they're going to play around with time a bit there as well, so they could go even further or even further back, depending on, you know, when in the season it is. But I was looking at what movies came out in like 1987 in the summer. They would be like the hot trending movies that they could talk about that fall. And one that came to mind, one of the most popular movies of the 80s, is Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the reason I pinpoint this one and think we could see references to it is because with Season 5, they've teased in some of these behind the scenes dumps that Hopper could be almost like a Demogorgon hunter of sorts. And I feel like with him, like maybe say there's a nighttime scene on like a hunting stand and he's like looking out into the woods of Hawkins or whatever, and like there's multiple Demogorgons just running around, it would almost be like they are the Predator from that movie. And I think there could be like a really cool homage to that. And so I just had that vision, even if it's like the technology they use somehow and they see like the heat rays of the Demogorgons or something, that would be a really sick like parallel. And so I would hope that we maybe get that reference. That would be awesome.
That is cool. I like that one.
Yeah.
You see the pictures of him, or in like the little behind the scenes teaser as well, with like the rugged beard.
Yes.
Maybe with a gun, maybe in the Upside Down potentially. So that Demogorgon hunter, I like that idea. Yeah.
Staying in the ballpark of like 80s things, we had, movie references. Well, music is big in Stranger Things, obviously. And so they're going to use some 80s song in season four. Separate Ways was a big one. In past seasons, you had like Madonna, a ton of other massive hits from the 80s. Well, in season five, what song do we think that we're going to hear? I'll let you go first again here, Ollie. The pressure's on.
This is a big one for me because the music of the show is so crucial. It reminds me of the show. I have all the songs from the show on my playlist and they come on and I just think summer 2022, it's just, the songs do so much. So for this one, I think I mentioned it to you before. I've got Rock the Casbah by The Clash. This works thematically because obviously the Clash in season one, Should I Stay or Should I Go, it kind of comes full circle with that theme, but also the song is just so good, so catchy, so feel good. I've envisioned it how it could play out in a scene which we might talk about later, but I just think that would be really good. And also an honorable mention to Sade. Anything from her would be amazing. I'm thinking like Smooth Operator with Steve Harrington, maybe in the epilogue, or one of her other songs. Is it The Sweetest Taboo? That I like that song, so that could be cool.
For my 80s song, I was also thinking like the year 1987. And this one, I don't know if they would go this route. It kind of ties into a movie reference, but Dirty Dancing was one of the big movies of that year. And so I've had the time of my life, the song from Dirty Dancing when he like does the iconic lift at the end. I wonder if they would incorporate that into this season somehow. It could potentially even be in like an epilogue or near the end of the entire thing. If they end up going the route of showing the kids graduate, it could be like a graduation song almost that plays as we sort of montage through graduation, getting quick shots of like where characters end up. And again, 1987, it could be, but that might be a little too corny. I don't know. It was just
It's the series finale, and Eleven and Vecna are in a showdown, and they just do the Dirty Dancing lift.
That would be incredible, dude. But talking character dynamics here, obviously everyone back in Hawkins for this final season. Can we expect to see some new duos or dynamics? I'll take the lead on this one because I let you go first the last two times. For me, a character dynamic or duo I want to see and think would be awesome is Steve and Jonathan. And the reason I choose this one is because they're two characters who are kind of caught in a love triangle with Nancy. They're both sort of vying for her love throughout the show. They've, both dated her, Jonathan currently dating her. And so with them all being in a character grouping, including Nancy and Dustin, I think it would be really cool if Steve and Jonathan actually became buds over the season, like good pals. And then by the end, if they really want to rip our hearts out, maybe one of them could make the sacrifice play for Nancy. Or if they really want to flip the script, Nancy could sacrifice herself to save both of them. And so maybe they'll have a friendship and a bond that forms throughout this season. And you know what? It could even be a full circle moment where they have a scene where Steve apologizes, Jonathan apologizes for everything they've done to each other, dating all the way back to that alley fight in season one. I think it would just be a great way to kind of have them, be friends and have come full circle. So Steve and Jonathan, I'm here for it. What about you, though?
That is a really interesting one because obviously they've not really encountered each other much on the show. There's quite a lot of pairs of characters that have hardly ever spoke, but they are so intertwined, their stories, but they don't really speak much. And I don't know what they're going to do with that love triangle because that wouldn't have been reintroduced in the last season for no payoff, the whole Steve coming back into Nancy's life.
That's what I'm thinking.
I had that written down as well. And I think we are going to see the three of them together for quite a bit. So I'm excited for that. For mine, I obviously had the OG four boys written down, but a lot of mine relate to Robin, my ideas, because Robin's a character that obviously came in later into the show, probably the latest out of most of the main cast that we still have around. And so she's not had much time to really build relationships with some of the other characters. And we've seen bits from behind the scenes with her and Joyce, and also her and Murray. So I'm personally really looking forward to see Robin interact with some of the older characters and what those dynamics are going to look like. Her and Joyce being like a powerhouse duo, I'm here for. And even her with Murray, on if they get sent out on a little side mission, what that would look like.
We're going to get some new duos for sure, but we're also going to take a look back, as we always do in Stranger Things, with, maybe some returning characters, but more importantly, returning locations. And so the next topic is what location from a past season do we think could appear? And I'll let you take the lead with this one. What location are you going with?
This one is kind of a bit difficult because obviously we've both been keeping up with filming, and so we kind of know what locations to expect somewhat. One that I would like to see, but it's almost guaranteed that we won't. But this is all for fun. Is Starcourt Mall, because obviously been a long time since season three now, years, and that was the iconic location of that season, as was Creel House in season four, which we can expect to see again. So it would be nice to go back to Starcourt Mall. Obviously, it's not a functional mall anymore after the fire, but maybe even a brief sequence, whether it's like a chase or a mission in through or into the mall, or what's left of it, I think would have been cool. Like, it's the final season, checking off places we've been before would be nice.
Yeah,
But
honestly, dude, that's the one I had written down. So we can talk about
really,
that a little together. Yeah, like mine is specifically like the ruins of Starcore. Like, how cool would it be
yeah,
if we kind of take a tour of all the past iconic locations? And that one is the season three location. Well, imagine if like the ruins are there and for some reason they have to find their way back over there, whatever the plot may be. I think that would be really cool. It would be like a darker setting. There could even be like a showdown there, like a mid-season showdown. I think
yeah.
it's probably out of the question, but it's fun to imagine.
Yeah, I think the only way it could make sense in the plot, maybe they're investigating stuff to do with the lab that ties to the Russians that then leads them to the underground base again. But I feel like there's not enough time in the season for that. I also, if I can mention, I had Castle Byers written down
Mm.
because I think we are going to see that. In season one, that was such an iconic location. And I think that little flashback with Will and Joyce in there, just like goofing around, and little moments like that we had in there. And then obviously in season three, Will destroying it. I feel like it will be nice to see that again, even if it's not in the present day. Seeing Castle Byers again in the show would be
I think
nice.
I think so, and I think they've teased that, with the behind the scenes stuff. So I imagine we'll get like one final scene of Will there. But one scene or sequence we want to see, this is the last category. So what is like a sequence or scene we want to see play out in season five? I'll go first with this one and then I'll let you round it out here. I'm gonna say I think this will happen. I'm fairly confident that we have to get this in the final season. To me, this is a scene I would like to see play out in potentially an epilogue, reunion type scene, and that scene is one final D&D campaign. Now, in the opening of Stranger Things, like the first time we see the four main kids, they're all playing D&D, and then they go their separate ways, and that's obviously when Will gets taken by the Demogorgon. Now, we've seen them play D&D since, obviously in season three, Will's really spearheading that, and then Lucas and Mike really want nothing to do with it, sort of. They're kind of growing out of it. Well, that's kind of a thing that connected their friend group and like the party. D&D. And so I think, as we get into season four, they kind of warm back up to it with the Hellfire Club. And we see Eddie and Dustin, Erica involved, Mike playing. So D&D's always been prevalent in Stranger Things. And so to me, I think it would be really fitting to get one final scene of everyone playing D&D together. And, this time around, maybe if everyone lives, I don't know if everyone's going to live, but say it's near the end, we get Max and 11 in there as well. So like the
That
party,
would be nice.
everyone playing D&D would be a really sweet moment, and I think it would feel final. And it would kind of be like, in a way, a Toy Story 3 moment. Say they're all about to go their separate ways to college or whatever paths they choose. If this is in the epilogue and if they do graduate, they could have like that final Toy Story 3 moment where the toys get played with one final time. I think it would be a beautiful, touching moment. The Duffers, the score by Kyle Dixon, Michael Stein, I got
Well,
chills thinking about it. So I think that would be an awesome moment, an awesome scene to see.
be cool. I mean, even potentially final ever scene of the entire series, big Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone gets involved in a
Hmm.
D&D big D&D
Yeah,
campaign. The teens, the adults, everyone. That would be cool. As long as it's not the infamous theory of it was all a D&D game. As long as it's not.
correct. Yeah, correct. If it's that, we riot.
As
And
long as it's
there's
not
no
that.
way that's what it's going to be. But in any context that's not that, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, my one. I'm quite interested, as we said earlier, with the trio of Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan. And we saw them in season one. Steve's heroic moment coming in, the three of them taking on the Demogorgon. I want to see those three taking on creatures from the upside down, but on a larger scale. I'm thinking full pack of Demodogs. The church set is where I've kind of pictured this taking place. I believe that character grouping might be at the church set at some point. I'm thinking the three of them, Nancy with the shotgun, Steve with the iconic bat coming back, Jonathan with like another weapon maybe. The three of them are in this church for whatever plot reason. Boom, 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 boom. Demodogs crashing through the church door, glass breaking, they're jumping through the windows. Screw it, Rock the Casbah comes on. Nancy's shotgunning, Demodogs jumping out of everywhere. There's a great song playing that will become iconic from the show, and the three of them just going crazy, beating up this pack of Demodogs. It's like a great, cool Nancy Walkham Down Wheeler action sequence with a great track over the top. I don't know where I got that from. I just imagined that scene play out. It just came to me, and I think that would be really cool.
Would love that. And I'm envisioning it, as you said, because it takes place in a church. I kind of envision that scene from the movie Kingsman. I don't know if you've seen the first one, but there's like a shootout. It's like 1-on-100 there. Yeah, and like, yeah. That's what I was envisioning with like all the creatures from the Upside Down, almost like a one take too. Dude, that would be awesome.
The Demodogs jumping over the seats.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And if Sean Levy were to direct that sequence, he has experience with the one take, because we saw in Dear Billy, the California storyline, like the shootout scene in the house, he directed that all in one take. And so that could be really cool.
Good as well.
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below if you're watching what your picks for all these categories would be. What are your predictions for season 5 in general? When do you think the season's going to come out? Let us know all that and more. That was fun. Ollie, thanks for joining, and let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on TikTok mainly, but I'm slowly getting to grips with the YouTube stuff as well. Yeah. So please do check me out.
Go give Ollie a follow on all socials. They'll be linked down below. But that does it for this video. It was a fun one. Again, let us know your predictions for all these categories down below. Of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, we'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.